Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Counting Pennies with Gen Z. Yes, I know that the channel name might need some work, so if you guys have any ideas for something better, please feel free to leave it down in the comments below. But with this channel, I just hope to cover topics pertaining to personal finance, my budget, what my income looks like, what my investments look like, my goals, my net worth, all that type of thing. Because I know that financial YouTubers are a dime a dozen these days, but it seems like so many of them only show you what they have after they've already made it. And so I just hope that with this, I can kind of show you where I'm starting off from and hopefully take you into and be a part of my journey as I try to make it. So, with this first episode, I just hope to go over three things: my income, what my budget looks like, and what my net worth looks like right now. So this is just something that I threw together today. So if we can start off by looking at the income column right up here. So if we look here, can see that I have a few different sources of income. So a little bit of background. I'm 24 years old. I graduated from college about a year and a half ago with a degree in exercise science, and I am located in St. Louis, Missouri. So if some of these numbers seem very low, such as the rent, that is why St. Louis is great, just because it does have that low cost of living. But if we start off with the income, we can see that the first column is the paycheck. So every month my paycheck comes out to right around 2,900 or so. Tips, which I make for my work, come out to about 300. And side work that I do, I manage a fitness center, and so I also do some fitness stuff on the side. I also do some work for my dad on the side as well. So that comes out to about 500. So each month I'm working with about 3,700, give or take. Some months are better than others. So like during the summers, I do interior car detailing as well. So that definitely adds to that number. And so because we are in the winter months, that number is a little bit lower just because it's definitely getting pretty cold here in St. Louis as we are approaching the winter. And so detailing isn't quite as fun. So we can start off with my investments right here. So I like to go by always pay yourself first. So I will always put money away each month. As you can see, my Roth IRA, that has a contribution limit this year of 6,000. It will be 6,500 next year. But for this year, I put away 500 per month or 250 per paycheck. And so then by the end of the year, I'm right at that 6,000 mark. I also have a 401k through my work. Just like the Roth, I try to put about 500 a month, about 250 per paycheck. I do not get a company match, unfortunately, with the 401k. And finally, I have a savings account. For that, I try to put in about 1,000 a month or about 500 per paycheck. Now, these amounts are a little bit different right now just because I am in the process of saving up for a condo. So I did already max out my Roth IRA for 2022, and the 401k, I put those contributions on hold. So now I'm just shoving all my money into a savings account to hopefully be able to have a nice healthy down payment for the condo next year. So that brings us to a total of $2,000. So from that 3,700 or so, I immediately stash away 2,000 of it, whether it's into my retirement funds, my savings account. I try to save at least half of my income every single month. And I should say that this paycheck is post-tax income, and from this amount, the 401k deductions have not been made yet. And so that's how we got to that 3,700 minus 2,000 leaves us about 1,700 to work with. Next, we can move on to these fixed expenses. I label these my fixed expenses just because they come out of my card or my bank account every single month. So for starters, we have rent. I know a lot of y'all who may live on the East Coast or West Coast or in the large up-and-coming cities might be surprised to see my rent this low. I rent with a roommate, so we just live in a 2-bed, 2-bath apartment, about 1,000 square feet. So with the water, trash, and the washer and dryer rental, my part comes out to $645 per month, Wi-Fi comes out to $50 per month. My roommate takes care of the electric. My phone bill, I'm on a family plan, so that comes out to just $25 per month. Car insurance, I will pay this every 6 months, though I just wanted to break it down for what the monthly cost would look like. I know that I do save money by paying it every 6 months. However, broken down, it comes out to about $90 per month. Apple Storage, that comes out to $3 a month. Spotify Family, I pay my contribution, which is also $3. Amazon Prime, that's $12 per month. And then just like the car insurance, I will pay this once a year. And so I'll pay the $150 or $160 or whatever it is. It seems to go up every single year. But at the end of the day, it comes out to about $12 per month. Finally, my gym membership comes down to $45 per month, for a total of $873, just under $900. And we see other expenses. Now, these are expenses which do not come out of my bank account or a credit card or a debit card. I try to pay for these in cash because with my tips and with some other side work I do get a lot of cash. And so all of these expenses, which I cannot pay with cash, I'll pay with a card or my bank account. And then all of these, I try to budget out and only pay with cash. So my groceries, $250. That might be a little low, might be closer to $275, $300. It really depends on the month. Though recently it's been right around $250. I definitely know I've been cutting back on what groceries I buy just because it seems like everything has been getting more and more expensive. So I would say that it's around $250 or so per month. Gas, I really wish that this was lower. Unfortunately, my car does take premium, so that's a little bit more expensive, but thankfully Missouri and St. Louis in general does have pretty cheap gas. So I see myself filling my tank about once a week, and that comes out to about $200 total per month. Eating out, I don't love eating out, and if I do eat out, I try to only let myself eat out once a week, if that. Though I like to partition about $50 per month, and so if I'm eating out once a week, that's $10, $15 per week that I'm allowed to use to eat out. Fun, this is other stuff such as going out to bars, drinking, concert tickets, that type of thing. That $50, I know that's very, very, very low by a lot of people's standards, but I just try to not budget too much for that stuff. And there are some months which are a little bit higher, some months which are a little bit lower. But I know that for this month, my big thing is I'm going to a Blue October concert this coming weekend, and that ticket was right around $50. So that took out my $50 for the month. Now, of course, I do give myself leeway. Like if I want to go to a sporting event or something like that, I will give myself a little bit more money to use for that, but in general I just try to keep that number pretty low. And finally, my haircut. I have pretty short hair, so I do get my haircut every month. So with the tip, that comes out to about $25 per month. So total, this comes out to right at $575 for a total expenses of just under $1,500 per month. So which gives me extra money of $252 per month. This extra money, if like I said, if I'm going to a sporting event, I will definitely pull from there. If my car needs an oil change, I will definitely pull from there. If I have a copay to make or anything like that, I can always pull from that money right there. And if I just plain don't need it for that month, then I can just always put it into that savings account right there. So what I really like about this budget is that, as you can see, my tips and side work comes out to about $800, whereas the paycheck comes out to around $2,900. So with the paycheck, I could evenly split that between my investments and my fixed expenses, which I need to have a bank account to pay with. So $873 plus $2,000 comes right around $2,900, leaving the tips and the side work for my other expenses and for extra money to have fun with. So I know that I am very fortunate just because I do have zero debt. My car's paid off, my phone's paid off. I always pay for my phone in cash. I bought my car with cash. I have no student loans. I have no credit card debt. nothing of that sort. And so that is one of the reasons that I am able to save that much. But even if I did, say, have a $500 a month student loan payment, I definitely could still be saving, say, $1,500 per month. And so don't let that be an excuse as to why you aren't able to save money. Just because you do have some debts, I'm just going to say try to pay off those debts as quickly as you can if the interest is higher, and then also stock away some money for investments and saving. So that's what that looks like. Now I wanted to take a little bit of a closer look at my net worth, where I'm at now, what kind of goals I want to achieve. So we can go right here, just refresh it. So while it's refreshing, there's a lot of numbers here. This is Quicken. I got this not too long ago. I know that it's you can definitely dive really deep into it just with different budgets, bills, and income. I know that if you have a business, you can also record a lot of stuff through there. But for me, I just kind of mainly pay attention to the side panel right here just to see where I'm looking at in terms of my net worth. So if we start at the top here, we'll see banking, cash. Like I said, I do make some money in cash every month, so I do have a little bit of a reserve here at my place. It's around $1,300 or so. Used to be a little bit higher, but I had to get new tires and some repairs for my car not too long ago, so I'm trying to build that back up again. Checking, I try not to keep too much money in my checking account. Just enough to be able to pay the bills every month, just because I'm earning little to no APY every year, annual percent yield. I guess I should say that I'm earning little to no interest. I think I have a 0.6% APY, something like that. Meanwhile, my savings account, that's where I keep most of, or I shouldn't say most, but a decent amount of my money. That's where I'm earning 3% every single year, which is great. And if need be, my checking and my savings are both through Capital One, so it's super easy to do transactions and to transfer money between the accounts if need be. So if I have a little bit extra in my checking for the month, I can transfer it right into my savings, or if I need a little money for my savings, like if my car insurance is up and it's due, I can just transfer that right into my checking and just pay from there. Credit card, I pay off my credit card every month, if not multiple times a month. I do have this charge right here. This is just from a couple charges like my gym membership and the Apple, subscription, what's it called? The Apple storage. And there was one other thing. I had to redo my CPR, so I paid for that with that. So it says a $56 balance, so I will have that taken care of later this week. Investments. So I invest through Charles Schwab. So in my brokerage, both of these, or all of these accounts, I should say, are definitely down right now. My investments, $13,462. I think that account value looks closer to $14.50 or so. So really hoping on that to bounce back, just because when I put the money in there a few months ago, I wasn't planning on purchasing property at any point soon, though now I kind of need it. So hopefully the market bounces back within the next 6 months, because I would really hate to take a loss. 401k, not too much in there. I really started contributing to it maybe 6 months ago or so. So not too much. I know there isn't an employer match, so me not contributing now, I'm not really missing out on anything, but about $3,500 in there. That's also down a little bit. Finally, my Roth IRA. With this, I max this out every single year. So in 2020, there was $4,000 in it, so I didn't max it out that year. But then in 21, I was able to put $6,000. 22, I've already maxed it out. I've put in the full $6,000, and then I'll start putting in $6,500 come next year. So this account value looks closer to its value right now is about $14,500, though total invested is right around that $16,000 mark. And finally, property. 2006 Acura TSX. This is my car. Its value is definitely higher now than it was a year or two ago. I think I paid $7,500 for it, and even 50,000 miles later, it's still worth right around the same. Granted, I've done a couple things to it to help increase the value, though it's right around $7,000, though I could definitely see that dipping in the next year or two as the used car market starts to stable out again. So I think that when I'm ready to sell it in a few years, probably I should be able to get maybe 3, 4, 5,000, something like that. Not too much, but it's a good car. It's reliable, and I have no plans to sell it, especially with today's used car market. So all that combined brings me to a net worth of right around $50,000. It's not great. It's not terrible. I do know that, or I should say, I've heard that the first 100K is the hardest, and so I am slowly starting to work my way there. But I know that next year, if I do decide to purchase some property, I do know that my savings and these investments here will definitely take a pretty big hit. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that looks come next year. So if we can go back to this. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to make this first video just to show that there are quote unquote normal people out there who aren't pulling like 6, 7 figures every single year. And yeah, I hope to help you guys out with any budgeting questions, income questions, basically just personal finance questions in general. And then also maybe you guys can help me out as well, just because I know that I'm not perfect and that this does have a lot of room to grow, just in terms of my goals, how I can be doing things better, where I should tighten things up, where I should loosen things up, all that type of stuff. So after today, my plan for my next video is to focus on money saving habits that I've adopted either from other people, my parents, that type of thing, and basically habits and practices that I live by and that you might be able to implement into your own life as well. So feel free to drop off any questions down in the comments below. I'd love to do maybe a Q&A at some point. But yeah, that's all for today, and thank you for watching.